What's going on, ladies and gents? It's M00 Photo. Again, welcome to my channel. And if this is your first time here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the little bell button. That way you'll be notified on awesome videos just like this one coming up in the future. So today I just want to talk about a couple of pointers. There is this huge thing, a lot of people here on YouTube, and I've had quite a few messages from people talking about autofocus from Red compared to the FX3 and I just want to address a couple of things. I think autofocus is just a tool, and I'm not saying this to kind of stir a controversy or an argument. It's just basically all that it is. Hear me out before you jump on me down in the comments. So autofocus is one of those tools that, yes, it does come handy when you're doing documentary work, interviews and that kind of stuff. You have one person in front of you and you focus on that person and it sticks to it, and that's all you gotta worry about. Once you have 2, 3, 5, 6, sometimes 10 subjects in front of your lens, that becomes problematic because the autofocus is not that good enough to decide who to stick to. Hence the reason why a lot of people still say autofocus is not used by Hollywood. What should I use it? But I think the thing a lot of people fail to explain is, yes, Hollywood does shoot movies. Hollywood does not shoot doc work, or should I say corporate work for the most part. Yes, they do shoot commercials. And when you do look into those commercials, even those of us that do that, freelancers, we still cannot rely on autofocus unless you only have one subject again in front of you. But the moment you find yourself having to pull focus from one object to another or one person to another, autofocus most likely than not starts becoming obsolete. Now hear me out. I didn't say it's not good. I simply said it becomes obsolete when you do have to do that kind of work. Here, as you can see, I'm using my Red Komodo, and it's got amazing autofocus. You don't believe me? Look at this. Yes. Well, how do I achieve this? I think I've made a video on this subject before that I've addressed how I managed to achieve autofocus on the Red Komodo, and that's pretty simple about the DJI Focus Pro module, and I combined that with my Red Komodo, and now all my cine lenses do have autofocus, which makes it super awesome as long as you set it properly. It works flawlessly. Now, would I use that if I was to shoot, let's say, doc work that has multiple subjects in it, or a commercial that has a bunch of people around it? Oh, probably not. Definitely not. That would be catastrophic. I would automatically revert to my manual focus or have a focus puller. Why? Because that's what we do. It makes that flexible. So now, the second question comes, do you need to buy a Red Komodo in 2025 if you're a freelancer? And I'll answer that question in two parts. Yes and no. Here's the yes part. Yes, if you do love the camera. My thing is, it doesn't matter what somebody else think. I don't know you. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you film. I don't know what kind of capacity you have to make that camera functional. As a matter of fact, I know solo creators or solo shooters that actually shoot with things like the Monstros, and those things are huge. It's not a Komodo. Those things are like literally 2, 3 times the size and the weight. But they manage to make it work. Why? Because they love the camera. They find solutions. If you love something, you will always find a way around it. So that's my reason number one. My reason number two, yes, because that camera is 4 or 5 years old, but it's still got 6K. The image that comes out of that camera is arguably one of the best images any camera you would buy or you could buy today could produce. It's comparable, if not better, than many, many, many others. Number three, editing that image is a match from heaven. I'm just gonna say it straight up. it's an amazing experience. Your computer doesn't need to be super maxed out in order for you to be able to edit Red R3D raw footage. But all of those reasons don't matter. But here's the reason that matters the most. That camera still shoots 6K, which means it's not 1080, it's not 720, it's not 460. I can't even remember what we used to shoot 10, 15 years ago. It's still arguably and will be still one of the best cameras 5-10 years from now. Because if you buy a Red Monster, which is a 15-year-old camera, that thing shoots 8K. You can still shoot movies with that thing today. And a lot of people try to sway away from those cameras. The reason being is because Red no longer supports those cameras. So that platform is no longer supported by Red. But the main issue with that is that they are so heavy and it requires a lot of accessories in order to implement that in a shoot. Compared to Red Komodo, it's tiny, it's small. You can literally mount that on a gimbal, you can mount that on a drone, you can handheld it and just shoot all day and not be tired and exhausted all of a sudden. So for those reasons, I would say yes, in 2025, if I had to make that choice again and buy a Komodo, I would definitely purchase another one. If my work was dominantly on that sphere. Now, I only use my Red Komodo for commercial work and music content, but anything doc related or interview related, corporate related, I always use my FX3, my FX30, and my Sony FS7, which is another thing. That camera is like 15 years old, but guess what? We still use that camera to this day because it's one of the best cameras you could have purchased back then. So now, I'm going to give you my reasons why you wouldn't need to purchase a Red Komodo in 2025. One, you do not like to pull focus. That right there would be my reason number one. I would sway away as far away as possible from the Red Komodo if you do not like to pull focus. Why? Because I know pulling focus is kind of intimidating to some people, and I don't know why really, because all it takes is a little bit of practice and you get there. This camera is not designed to be for a one-man shooter, just like many other cameras. We could sit here and sight all day. However, like I said, if you do like something, you can always make it work. Now, I can't wait to hear your guys' comments and opinions down there in the comments. I would really love to hear that. This is how we grow the channel. Please like the video, share it. And this is how we grow as videographers, as content creators, as professionals, and we learn from each other. So without any further ado, I cannot wait to hear your opinion down there. Let me know what you think. Is it worth still purchasing a Red Komodo OG? We're not talking about the X. No, we're talking about the OG in 2025. Until next time, thank you very much.